Only this morning, Faiza, we were talking about this ongoing negotiation between the Prime Minister's office and the White House, all working towards this date of July 21st, which would have been the 30-day window that the two sides gave themselves to reach some kind of settlement, some kind of resolution of the tariffs that Donald Trump has placed on Canada. That effort now appears to be off all of a sudden. And the impetus for this appears to be a story posted online by Bloomberg News highlighting the fact that Canada is going to proceed to impose its digital services tax. This is something that goes back to 2022 under the Justin Trudeau government, when the government decided it was going to put a 3% tax on revenues for big internet companies like Meta, like Google or Alphabet, so that they are taxed on the revenues that they earn within Canada above and beyond $20 million annually. That was supposed to kick in on Monday. Sounds like Trump didn't know about this, didn't know this was coming, and then today posted this. I'm going to read to you from the message he posted on True Social, his social media site. And he says, "We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with," he says, "including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products." That's not actually true. It's not accurate. But then he continues, "has just announced they are putting a digital service tax on our American technology companies, which is, quote, a direct and blatant attack on our country. They are obviously copying the European Union, which has done the same and is currently under discussion with us. Based on this egregious tax," Trump writes, "we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada effective immediately. We will let Canada know the tariff they will be paying to do business with the United States of America within the next 7-day period." And he ends with this sign off that he's using a lot these days. "Thank you for your attention to this matter." So what does this mean? Well, it sounds like we haven't had a response yet from the Prime Minister's office to this, but it sounds very much like Trump has basically ended the negotiation with Canada, and he says within a week, he's going to impose a rate of tariff on Canada. This is something he's done with countries around the world. Remember on Liberation Day, he brought up that chart and said, okay, these are all the countries, these are the taxes, the tariff that we are going to put on your products. Some of it didn't make any sense at all. Some of it seemed to be higher than it should have been. Some places actually lower. But Canada was unaffected by that because at the time we had started this negotiation with the Americans. There was discussion about the original 25%, the so-called fentanyl tariffs on all Canadian products. That was ultimately carved out for pretty much anything that was made under the USMCA, CUSMA, new NAFTA agreement. So that was not as damaging as it could have been. Then there was the threatened tariffs in the automobile sector. The American side has sort of walked some of those back, but the 50% tariffs on Canadian-made steel and aluminum still in place. So this is still an active negotiation that was going on until just not that long ago, just until early this afternoon when Trump sent this out. This is obviously going to throw the Canadian side into great disarray. They had been hoping that they could reach a point where the Americans would agree to completely remove all the tariffs, although there have been some signs coming out from the Canadian side over the last week that they were losing confidence in the idea that those tariffs could be completely removed. We had several officials, including Kirsten Hillman, who's the Canadian ambassador to the United States, who is now effectively leading this negotiation on Canada's behalf. She was quoted in some media reports saying, well, Trump is very committed to his tariffs. Reading between the lines from that, it sounded like he wasn't going to back off on that. Now, because of this digital services tax, which a lot of other countries around the world apply, including the European Union, as Trump referred to in his message, this seems to be the thing that, because Trump just learned about it, he's decided to scuttle these negotiations. This is going to send the Canadian side into deep panic. I'm sure that 30-day window looks like that's off now. It looks like we are not going to have a resolution anytime soon with the American side. But, things in Trump world, Faiza, they change very quickly. The Prime Minister is at this hour, or at least he was starting an hour ago, was scheduled to start a meeting with his Prime Minister's Council on U.S.-Canada Relations. This is a group of business executives, labor leaders, academics who give advice to the Prime Minister and was first appointed by Justin Trudeau before Carney. But Carney has continued to take advice from them. He's meeting with them today to get advice on dealing with this relationship. And that meeting, we think, was underway when Trump sent this message out on social media. So lots more to come on this story. We're going to find out exactly what the Canadian response is. Is the deal truly scuttled? Is there any hope of resurrecting it, getting these negotiations back on track? Hopefully we'll hear when the Prime Minister comes out of that meeting this afternoon what he has to say, or at very least hear from Dominic LeBlanc, the Intergovernmental Affairs Minister, who has been responsible for Canada-U.S. relations in Cabinet, as well as Anita Anand, the Foreign Minister, to see what she has to say. This is a bombshell, Faiza, and we're watching reaction for it over the next few hours very closely.